What's going on, everybody? It is good to be back home. Let me tell you, it was a weekend in Montreal. If you haven't seen what happened, just check out the channel. There's 3 videos in 3 days. So you guys would have seen everything there. But let's talk about this game real quick, right? The Canadiens, you can't be disappointed with that performance to me. The Canadiens lose 3-2 in the shootout to the Stanley Cup champion Las Vegas Golden Knights. And you know what? The Canadiens were this close to actually knocking off the Stanley Cup champs. So I can't be disappointed with that performance. They were so close to taking it home. And, where do you want to start with this game? I think that, the Canadiens outplayed the Golden Knights basically the entire night. And it was an inspiring performance for me from the Habs, just seeing their, not just being able to keep up with Vegas, but the fact that they kind of set the pace. And if you notice in the earlier games this season, the pace hasn't been that great against, like I was at the Winnipeg game at the Bell Center on Saturday. It had a slow start. Well, the Canadiens did not start slow at all in this game. They were ready. So they came out flying to me and had a really nice start. Didn't get rewarded for it, mind you, but Paul Cotter scores the opening goal for the Vegas Golden Knights, assisted by William Karlsson and Pietrangelo on the power play. And again, the Canadiens were penalized how many times here? Four times still in this game, which still is too many if you're going to try to win a hockey game. So the thing is, the Canadiens tied it in the second period on a shorthanded goal from Sean Monahan, who I'm going to talk about more in a second, that Aiden Hill wishes he absolutely had back. You wonder why Steve Dangle came up with that phrase, you should tend the goal. But it was a pretty bad giveaway from Aiden Hill. So, yeah. Yes. Okay. So let's talk. I have to do this really quick. I have to go into work. It's usually the case, guys, but I'm dedicated. I'm dedicated to this. William Carrier scores in the second period just before it ends, actually, and makes it 2-1 for Vegas until the very end of the third period, where this guy, Le Capitaine, Nick Suzuki, happy spooky Suzuki day, if you will. I'm not a huge Halloween fan anymore. I grew out of it a long time ago, but Spooky Suzuki sounds fun. Anyways, Nick Suzuki ties the game, assisted by Cole Caulfield and Raphael Harvey-Pinard, who these guys had a bit of a tic-tac-toe play on the Suzuki tying goal. And this is what kept me up watching the game. I didn't even think I was going to make it to the end of the game to watch it all, but I did, because they played inspired and they tied it, went to overtime in the 3-on-3, almost won it a couple times, had a lot of possession in the 3-on-3. Everyone was just waiting for that Cole Caulfield snipe, but it didn't happen in the end. But that being said, the fact that Canadians got a point out of this game and we're so close to getting two. Suzuki also scored in the shootout, as we saw him do live in Montreal on Saturday against Winnipeg, had the winner. But, we couldn't finish it off at the end of the day in the shootout. But that's okay, because the Canadiens played, to me, an inspired performance. And it's early in the season, but they're off to a pretty decent start here at 5-2-2 now, right? So, in terms of certain players' games, I did have the Slavkovsky debate again about Laval, as it's going to keep going until the end of the season. But that being said, you think that he could use some time down there for sure. And then, he makes a really nice play on the power play and almost gets an assist. So if he puts up a point or two in this game, we still having this conversation. That seems to be the back and forth also with people. So, but I'm going to let that work itself out, because he's still so young. And 3 years from now, he's going to be 22. 3 years from now, 3 years, he'll be 22. So he's still wicked young. And I really think he's going to get there, but let's let it happen the way it has to. Sam Montembeault not tested quite as much as Aiden Hill was in this game. So, but made the saves at the end of the game. You saw that save, that Carey Price-esque toe save to it was in overtime, wasn't it? Yeah, it was in overtime where Montembeault made that wicked toe save. That was awesome. I mean, power to him there. Made the first save in the shootout, so we could have finished it off, but we couldn't get Cole or Sean Monahan or Alex Newhook, who hit 2 crossbars in this game. I think it was actually the pass from Slavkovsky in the third period where Alex Newhook hit the crossbar, and then he hit the crossbar again in the shootout. So he's a very nice guy, by the way. I got to say, super nice guy. Very happy to be in Montreal, as you might have seen in the video of Saturday. But yeah, the Canadiens play an inspired performance. I don't think you can trade Sean Monahan based on the value that he brings, all the faceoffs that he won. Alex Newhook won a lot more faceoffs in this game. So based on everything that Sean Monahan's bringing, Do you really want to trade him for futures that might work out in a few years? He's still only 28, going to be 29. He's playing so well. The cap hit's reasonable, very reasonable. And, the injury history, however, I mean, if he stays healthy after his major surgeries, his hip surgeries, his wrist surgeries, if he really does stay healthy, the Canadiens are a much, much better team with him in the lineup. So I just don't think it's smart to move him this season. I don't. Maybe not ever. I don't know, not saying ever, but he's valuable in this rebuild. I think you need him to keep this thing going. That's my opinion. So other than that, Jack Eichel in this game was decent at times. He got a penalty shot in overtime. Did I not mention that? Sam Montembeault was huge at the end of this game, guys. He's also a nice guy, by the way. Anyway, I'll stop talking about myself. But he made a huge save on Jack Eichel in the overtime in a penalty shot, which is like the most exciting play and not something you look forward to as an opponent when it's against you. But Montembeault stops him, and then he stopped him again in the shootout. So good for Sammy that he had a good performance in this game. The Canadiens are heading to Arizona next, and that's where we'll see you next, guys. An inspired performance from them. You got to enjoy them. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Go Habs, go.